Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to do the second step to our Vincent van Gogh sunflower project. Now hopefully you still have that vase that we drew last time. We have our tabletop and we have our stems. We don't quite have our sunflowers just yet. Now when we talked about Van Gogh, we talked about how in his paintings, you see a lot of texture and brush strokes. He doesn't blend it out nice and smooth. So when we're creating our lines today, we want to make sure that we emphasize that texture. So first what we're going to do is we're going to be coloring our tabletop. Now for this project, for our tabletop, we need a yellow, brown, and orange marker. For our sky, we need a light blue, dark blue, and purple marker. And we're also going to be using some water and a paintbrush. If you do not have markers, if you do not have the water option, no worries. You can just do it with marker. You could do it with crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have at home. So I'm going to start with my yellow on my tabletop here, and I'm just going to make straight lines. Just straight lines with my marker. I'm kind of using the side of it to create a nice thick line. They can be overlapping. They don't have to be nice and straight lines here. Okay, then once I'm done with my yellow, I'm going to use my orange. And again, I'm doing the same thing, overlapping, making nice, thick, straight lines. They're all going in the same direction. Now the last one is brown. I'm going to do slightly thinner lines with the brown, adding just a little bit here and there. I don't want the brown to take over when I add the water. Okay? So before I add the water, I'm going to finish coloring in my background first, and then I'll show you what the water will do. Now again, if you're using crayons and colored pencils, you can blend in this white space. You don't have to leave the white space like I'm doing. So now I'm going to start with my dark blue. Now in the background, we're going to do curved lines. So we're going to make our picture look a little bit like Starry Night in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a dot, and around that dot, I'm going to make curved lines that kind of go around it and keep making a bigger circle. Then I'm going to make another one, making those curved lines, kind of making a swirl around that little dot that we made. Maybe have a little one here, maybe a little one here. I really want to fill in my space around my vase. Making sure that we make curved lines. Alright, so now I'm going to use my purple, and I'm going to follow those same kind of curves that I made with my dark blue. Kind of going right next to it, not in the same line. They can be overlapping. They don't have to look nice and neat. And you can use the side of your marker to get a nice thick line. The last color I'm going to use is my light blue. If you don't have a light blue, no worries. Just use the colors you have. You want to make sure you use blues and purples. Probably wouldn't use greens because our stems are green. We don't want them to blend in with the background. We want to be able to see those stems. Again, I'm following those swirls with my light blue. Now, if you don't have water and you're doing this step with the marker, you can leave it how it is. It looks cool just the way it is as well, so don't worry. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to add water to is my tabletop, because these are my lighter colors. I really don't want that blue to blend in with my lighter colors because you're going to see my water get pretty dirty. Alright, so I'm going to take my paintbrush. I'm going to paint over top of those straight lines. And you'll see that those colors start to blend together, but we still can see that texture underneath. It's really important that we don't add so much water that we can't see our lines anymore. We just want a little bit of water just to fill in that white space, but also so we can see that texture. Okay. What might be a good idea too is before you start painting, if you want to put a paper towel or a placemat underneath, just so that the marker doesn't go through your paper and get on the table, that's always a good idea. Now I'm going to clean out my paintbrush really good because I don't want to get yellow and browns in my sky. And I'm going to do the same thing in my sky, swirling those colors around. And guess what? It really just fills it in with a light blue. You can go right over top of your stems. They won't go anywhere because they're with crayon. And you still can see the texture. I kind of go in a swirling motion. It's okay if you get a little bit on your vase because that crayon really should prevent the marker from sticking to your crayon, which is great. So I'm swirling it around my paper, making sure that we still have that texture, that we can see our pretend brush strokes. Make sure that I get the white space, making sure that I don't use too much water, because sometimes when we use too much water, your paper gets soggy and can rip. Once you are done painting your tabletop and your sky, you're going to leave it where it is to dry before you move it because we don't want to rip it. And once it's dry, you can move it to a safe spot, saving it for next time so we can finish up our sunflowers. Great job today!